Ayesl's eyes burned like coals under the neon lights of Lagos City. She walked swiftly through crowded streets, her hands clutching herbs and talismans, muttering incantations to ward off a wrath she alone had seen. The river spirit, angry from pollution and neglect, had risen in whispers along the city's flooded canals. At the marketplace, she found Umar, laughing with friends, juggling oranges and teasing street vendors. Ayesl, you and your ghost stories again, he chuckled. But Ayesl's gaze pierced him like fire. Mark my words, Umar, she warned. The river is restless. It will take more than laughter to escape its fury. The crowd snickered. Children pointed. Elders shook their heads, and vendors returned to haggling, thinking her mad. Ayesl sighed, adjusting the beads around her neck. If only they believed, she whispered. Later, as night fell, the river's murmur grew louder. Somewhere beneath the reflection of the street lamps, something stirred. Ayesl stared into the water, knowing that the city's ignorance would soon meet the spirit's wrath. The next morning, Lagos hummed with life. Cars honked, motorcycles weaved through traffic, and street vendors shouted their wares. But the river ran darker than usual, sluggish and foreboding. Ayesl moved from alley to alley, warning anyone who'd listen. Umar,
Tell them.
don't let your pride blind you, she pleaded outside a popular food stall. Umar, ever the playful charmer, winked at the crowd. Relax, Ayesl. The only flood today is the jollof rice spilling over your plate. The vendors laughed, and even Ayesl couldn't suppress a tiny smile. Yet, whispers spread through the city. Strange things, boats drifting without rowers, cats disappearing into the mist, a chill in the air, made people pause. The elders remembered old tales of the river spirit, but pride and laughter drowned out caution. By evening, shadows crept along the walls of high-rise buildings, and the city felt smaller, vulnerable. Ayesl's warning echoed unanswered. If only they believed. Umar, full of bravado, organized a celebration along the riverbank. Come on, it's just water. Let's show the river who rules the city, he boasted, leading a parade of dancing youths, drums banging, lights twinkling, and laughter booming. Ayesl ran after them, arms waving wildly.
Stop.
You don't understand. The river spirit, but Umar silenced her with a grin. Ayesl, relax. Today, we make history. As the parade approached the river's edge, a strange fog rolled in. Umbrellas shivered under invisible gusts, and ripples danced like warning fingers. Ayesl froze, heart pounding. In her mind, the warning grew louder. If only they believed, they would have followed me. And in the laughter, in the music, the river whispered back, ready to reclaim what the city had forgotten. By dawn, the city streets smelled of wet asphalt and roasted maize. Ayesl moved swiftly along the riverbanks, collecting herbs and chanting under her breath. She knew the river spirit had begun stirring. Meanwhile, Umar laughed with his friends, boasting about the parade's success.
See?
Nothing happened. The river's just a puddle, he declared. But then, a strange ripple caught his eye, a shimmer across the water that made the hair on his arms rise. Ayesl appeared suddenly, tugging at his sleeve. Umar, you don't understand. The river isn't just water. It remembers every insult, every pollution, every laughter against the old ways. Umar chuckled nervously. Ayesl, you're imagining things. But before he could step back, a small boat floated by itself, spinning slowly. The crowd gasped, laughter fading into unease. Ayesl's eyes blazed like fire. The river spirit was waking. And if the city continued ignoring the warnings, the river would decide who survived. Ayesl found herself at the edge of the city's oldest bridge, where the river whispered secrets only she could hear. Suddenly, a small boy, no older than 10, appeared beside her. "I know the river," he said, eyes bright with mischief. "It talks, but only to those who listen." Ayesl's lips curved in relief. "You understand?" The boy nodded. "I've seen Umar tease the river too much. It's angry." Meanwhile, Umar was oblivious, attempting to juggle coconuts for fun along the riverbank. But every coconut he tossed seemed to float midair before falling awkwardly. Laughter turned to nervous chuckles. That night, Ayesl prepared a ritual, lighting lanterns along the river and chanting. The boy joined her, mimicking her movements with innocent enthusiasm. Somewhere, hidden in the shadows, the river's power stirred, curious about this girl and her little human ally. The following morning, the city awoke to a strange mist covering the river. Boats were stuck midwater, and cats and dogs yipped in panic. Ayesl ran through the streets, warning everyone. "It's happening. The river spirit is testing us." Umar, still half playful, tried to calm the crowd. "Relax, people. It's just fog. Nothing to worry about." But as he laughed, the water around his feet swirled unnaturally. A small current grabbed his shoe, tugging him closer. His friend screamed, finally realizing Ayesl had been right. Ayesl stepped forward, chanting urgently, "Follow my voice, or you'll regret ignoring the warnings." For the first time, some villagers hesitated. They glanced at the swirling water, fear replacing laughter. But Umar, stubborn and proud, refused. The river spirit was patient, but even patience had limits. And now, the city would see just how far its disbelief could go. Umar stood at the riverbank, chest puffed up, trying to laugh off the rising panic.
See?
"Nothing bad is happening," he shouted, tossing a pebble into the swirling water. But the river responded immediately. The pebble spun midair, then plopped back at his feet. Ayesl ran toward him, frustration and worry in her eyes. "Umar, if only you listened. The river spirit doesn't forgive ignorance." Umar smirked, but the smirk faltered when the fog thickened and whispers echoed around him. Strange, playful currents tugged at his clothes and hair, making him stumble repeatedly. The crowd couldn't help but laugh at the sight, but nervous laughter, the kind that trembles with fear. For the first time, Umar felt a shiver of respect for Ayesl's warnings. The city, too, started to murmur, some moving cautiously away from the water. But stubborn pride held him in place. By midday, the river had begun to rise. Water lapped at the streets, chasing cars and spilling into market stalls. Vendors screamed, clutching their goods, while children giggled at the splashes. Umar tried to help, but every step he took, the water danced away, almost teasing him. Ayesl moved like a whirlwind, guiding those willing to listen. "Follow me. The river is testing your hearts," she cried, pulling people to higher ground. Some laughed at the chaos, but a few children and elders obeyed, trusting her strange yet calming voice. The mischievous boy from the bridge appeared again, sprinkling herbs into the water. Instantly, the current softened near the safe paths. The river spirit, playful but merciful, responded to those who respected its power. Umar, drenched and frustrated, finally realized that Ayesl had been right all along. Pride and laughter could no longer protect him from the river's wrath. Night fell, and the city's streets glimmered with reflections of lanterns and rising waters. Umar faced a choice: continue ignoring the warnings or follow Ayesl and survive. Ayesl's eyes, burning coal bright, locked with his. "Umar, The river only tests those who refuse to listen. Will you choose pride or life? For the first time, Umar's playful bravado faded. He saw families clinging to higher ground, children holding tight to each other, and the small boy guiding people safely. He swallowed his ego and ran to Ayesl's side, shouting, I will follow you. The river spirit seemed to pause, acknowledging his choice. The water calmed around them, but distant currents reminded everyone that the lesson was not forgotten. Ayesl smiled softly, placing a hand on Umar's drenched shoulder. If only they all believed sooner, she whispered, as the city began to breathe easier, though laughter and chaos still danced among the streets. The river roared like a living creature, swallowing streets and threatening buildings. Boats floated aimlessly, and market stalls were half submerged. People screamed, some laughing nervously, some crying. Ayesl moved with precision, guiding anyone who would listen. Umar, now soaked and humbled, followed closely. I should have listened. I should have believed, he muttered, struggling to keep up. Suddenly, a huge wave surged toward the center of the city. Panic erupted. Ayesl held her arms high, chanting in a voice both commanding and soothing. The river paused as if listening. Her eyes blazed, and the city felt the weight of her power. The small boy sprinkled herbs into the water, laughing as the currents obeyed. See, he said to Umar, the river listens to those who respect it. The waves split, leaving safe paths. Laughter returned, nervous but relieved. Umar realized that sometimes pride must bow to wisdom, and sometimes even a city must listen to the old ways. By morning, the flood had receded, leaving muddy streets and scattered debris. Children jumped in puddles, laughing, while elders quietly repaired what they could. The city felt alive, changed. Umar walked beside Ayesl, holding a basket of herbs as he tried to mimic her chants. I never believed someone like you could guide us, he said sheepishly. Ayesl laughed softly, a warm sound that cut through the morning mist. It's not about me, Umar. It's about listening, respecting, and believing. Even a city as loud as ours can learn that. People whispered about the river spirit, newfound respect in their voices. Some still giggled at Umar's antics, but now their laughter held humility and joy, not ignorance. Weeks later, the city thrived with new energy. The river, once feared and ignored, became a place of respect and celebration. Lanterns lined its banks, children played safely, and elders told tales of the river spirit, honoring Ayesl's guidance. Umar, once proud and careless, now worked alongside Ayesl, learning the old ways and teaching playful lessons to children. Don't laugh at warnings, he teased one child, juggling coconuts with exaggerated care. The child giggled, remembering Umar's flood misadventures. Ayesl smiled, watching the city from the bridge. Her eyes, still like burning coals, softened with pride. The river spirit had tested them, and the city had learned. Love, laughter, and respect flowed together now, funny, chaotic, and alive. And somewhere beneath the glowing river, a quiet whisper echoed, "Those who listen survive."